I'm speaking with David Pena. What made you decide to run for the District 5 council seat, sir?
That's a tricky one. Over the last couple of years, I've really started to pay more attention to local politics. I think the older we get, the more we realize, that our decisions actually play a role in our community a lot more than we think of it as teenagers or 20s and 30s. Anyway, so a couple of things I noticed over the last couple of years was in my area, the incumbent, we won't call him out, we'll just call him the incumbent, was creating a lot of roadblocks, a lot of roadblocks for businesses coming in, or even local businesses trying to do work for the city, almost playing sheriff. We've got a sheriff, we don't need one on city council. A lot of it too between council members. It seems like there's a lot of disorder, disrespect between each other, caused by this individual. So I feel like when you get to the point where you've lost the respect of your constituents, I think you're beyond negotiations, and I feel we're at that point now. So we need to make a difference. We need to make a change there.
What are some of the issues you see in District 5, and I guess the city at large, because even though you'll be representing District 5, you're part of the team that represents our city, right?
Correct. District 5's got its own unique sets of challenges. About 90% of the growth right now in the city is going into District 5. I mean, South Side, everything's moving towards London and across Oso Creek, sorry. So I mean that's an ongoing thing there, and that's a good thing. I mean that's not a complaint. I think in the process though we've neglected some of the existing neighborhoods. The arterial roads are being taken care of. That's being done, but there's a lot of neighborhoods that have terrible streets, and these are nice neighborhoods that just aren't being maintained. So I'd like to focus on that. That's a big concern of mine going into this election.
In addition to, I guess the streets might take all your time should you get elected. Is there any other issues besides the streets that would, I noticed just the streets, almost any district you drive down the streets, there's problems, aren't there? I mean, I'm not trying to...
No, for sure. No, the streets is just one. There's several other issues. On the south side, we have drainage issues.
Okay.
As we're growing, our stormwater becomes, we've got more concrete, we've got more streets, so stormwater's got to keep up with the growth. So we have to forecast that and get ahead of it. We know it's coming. So I mean, it's like any other business. City business is a business. So you're only doing business as well as you're forecasting. So we have to see it coming and forecast how we're going to grow into it. And that's something I'm pretty good at. I own 3 businesses, and they're completely different from each other. There's a shoe store, a bike shop, and an archery shop. So you have to forecast different parts of the city and make changes accordingly. And that's not being done adequately right now, I don't think.
Is this the first time you'll be running for office?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
No, this will be my first go at city council. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the president of a local nonprofit, so I've got experience with these types of matters. It's just this will be the first time doing it for the city. I've always done it before for nonprofits.
Yes, sir. Well, I was just thinking about that. Like, as we go along in life, you get jobs, you do things, you volunteer, you're involved on some level doing
totally,
something,
yeah.
right? I'm
completely involved. I'm involved with city programs currently. We do sponsor some city programs. We're very health oriented, so we sponsor some of the city events as far as the downtown run club and things like that. We get involved with the city in our own way. But I think it's time to step that up to the next level.
Well, I guess I was going to touch on that because as you get older, you figure things just sort of get done, and the city council is the city council, and then all of a sudden you get to a certain age, you go, well, wait a minute, something needs to change, or I could do something here, or I've been doing this, I could easily do what I'm doing over here in this new space, right? The
Correct. And I think that applies to every household. I mean, how many times have we sat around talking with friends and we've got complaints or concerns about how things are going, and we talk about it all the time, But at what point do we stop talking about it and make an effort to do something about it? And I think, I've been through the same cycle as everybody else. I've been talking about it for years, and it's come to the point where somebody has to step up and do something. So hopefully I can be that person to step up and do something.
Are there, we're talking about roads, we're talking about infrastructure, we're talking about drain water.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, well, are you thinking about, or is it the desalinization? Is that plant, I guess that's not really even in your district, but it's
not
to
in my
be a
district,
big issue.
but yeah, even though desal isn't in my district, it still affects my district, and that vote will be over any vote pertaining to desal does come from the whole council, so it's got to be a majority vote to pass on it, and most of it's already been agreed on. It's happening. Okay. The current council has already decided that. So, as incoming council, I think we just have to make sure that it's done in a way that we're being respectful to the environment. And I don't think any of those concerns have been left out. I don't feel like they have. I've seen some of the reports, some of the studies, and there's conflicting studies between other different groups. But overall, the permitting process isn't by the city council. It's by TCEQ, and they're not going to issue a permit on something that they don't feel is safe to the environment. So for that reason, I mean, we need water, and I support it.
Is there? Well, it seems like you touched on most things. Is there anything you'd like to discuss or conclude with that you're passionate about, or that you see needs some help, or?
I think when we look at candidates in general, I think we need to really look into who they are. Not just who they say they are, or who they actually are, what they've actually done for the community. City council isn't an opportunity for you to finally do something for your community. You should have been doing something all along, So look at that. Look at if they've been productive. What do they do for the community? Do they work within the community? And if so, do they give back to it? I think when you start looking at that and you look at that between candidates, it'll kind of weed out the ones that are not really in it for the right reason and the ones that are. If I was born and raised in Corpus, I mean this is home. It's always going to be home. I'm going to die here. I've got businesses here. I'm rooted here. I've got family here. So I want it to be a good place. I want it to be something for my kids, for my grandkids, grandchildren that I can leave and feel comfortable that I've done everything I could to make it better.